Welcome to Nature's Guardians. I'm Micah Siegel. Each week, I talk with people working to save and help animals around the world. They are nature's guardians, and you can become one too. Today, I'm talking with Candela Tisera from the Global Penguin Society. Welcome to the show, Candela.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Great to
So
have
happy
you.
to be here.
Yeah. Okay, so what does your organization do?
My organization works like in three main parts. It works in education, it works in management, and it works in science. I particularly working on the science part. I'm developing useful knowledge for conservation and in a particular colony here, and we are starting to include more penguin colonies that are near here.
Do you have a presentation for us?
Yes, I had.
Okay.
Global Penguin Society fosters for conservation of all penguin species and is the first organization dedicated exclusively to the conservation of penguins. The story of the penguins began 60 million years ago, and this is the monster penguin that we are talking about, that six feet tall, so they are so tall, and they can weigh like 70 kilos and so big. And as I mentioned to you before, they originate in a little continent called Zealandia that is around the current New Zealand. Here we had the six main groups of penguins, and after years of evolution of diversification, and they live only in the South Hemisphere, in South Africa, South America, and Antarctica, and Australia. And they have amazing different adaptations for live in a few different habitats. The ones with the red circle are considered endangered by the international conservation group that are dedicated for just for penguins. There are scientifics that can say if the many species how the species stages actually. These features, they have some features that make them vulnerable to different threats that penguin has to face. They can fly. They live aggregates in colonies. They lay only 1 or 2 eggs per year. And the most important thing is that they depend on marine food that is especially and temporarily unpredictable. And also, that made them vulnerable for main threats on land and the sea because they occupy both sides. So at the sea, fisheries are significant a big problem for them because it affects the food availability for them, and also it can. There are many cases of penguins getting entangled on fish nets. Also, the marine pollution is a big problem too, especially old spits, because made penguins' feathers lost their waterproof condition. So that's so bad for penguins. Also, in land, the introduced predators such as cats or rats maybe can predate on the little chicks and on an eggs, or in some cases with adult individuals, and add it to the natural predators that penguins have. And also, human disturbance can increase the stress hormones levels, and it can produce that the penguins have to abandon the nest, the parentals, so the chicks stay alone. Penguins are so different. They occupy a lot of different habitats, and they occupy huge areas on the sea and in land because of the colonies and the trips that they do on the sea. So that makes them coexist with a lot of different species of animals and plants. So if we think about protecting penguins, we are thinking about protecting a lot of different species. And that's why our founder, Pablo García Borboroglu, we call him Poppy, create Global Penguin Society to foster a conservation culture in which all people can participate in conservation and put nature in value, that includes three principal axes. There are education, science, and management. The educational team that GPS has gives some talks in different schools, in different school levels, explaining about the conservation of penguins and the ocean. And also, they give them for free some booklets with a lot of information, fantastic information about penguins and how we can protect them in our homes. And these books are called Messengers of the Sea and Knowing Our Penguins. Also, we organize trips to take the kids to know the penguins in their own habitat, so they can learn more about them in the place that they live. So that's it fantastic because a lot of children doesn't know penguins, and they can know penguins for the first time in this program. And more than 6,000 children visit penguin colonies with this amazing program. Also, the team developed awareness campaigns on the beach during summer. When the people go to the beach, they organize games with the children and give them talks and do some games for them. And also, we organize this activity in different beach resorts. And we give the beach resort some reusable cups so they can avoid the single-use plastic on that resort, keeping thousands of plastic items out of the sea. Also, another educational activity that we develop is the beach cleanups. They are so important because a lot of trash are accumulating on the penguin colonies. So we organize these beach cleanups every year with teenagers, so we can involve them in the trash problem and talk about how we can consume differently in our life, in our routines, how we can think about the disposable consumption that we have. And also, the teenagers can spread the message with their own families in the house. Also, last year, I developed an activity with the students from the university to go to clean the nest of the penguins because the trash stay in land so much time. So they started to forming part of the penguin nest. There are like caves. So we take that trash off, taking care to not destroy the nest of the penguin. But we organized that amazing activity with some students from the Patagonia National University. The management part is to work coordinating with landowners of some places that have penguin colonies, for governments and for communities, for develop new marine protected and coastal areas, and also improve the management of the existing ones. And there, as a result, we have 32 million of acres of marine and coastal areas protected. And I'm here because I'm participating of the science program of Global Penguin Society. And as I mentioned, we have the goal to generate useful information for conservation. And we have 3 main research areas with our own scientific projects in New Zealand, Chile, and Argentina. I would talk about the science work that we do in Argentina with the Magellanic penguins. Magellanic penguins are highly distributed in South America. And in Argentina, we had 71 colonies distributed in 4,000 kilometers of coast. And we had here the annual cycle of the Magellanic penguins. In September, they arrived to the colonies. The males came first and arranged the nest for the came of the female that came a little bit later. Then we have the incubation period. They lay 2 eggs per year. And then from November to January is the chick rearing. And in this period, the parents take care of the chicks by turns. One goes to the sea and the other one are taking care of the nest at the same time. Then from February to April, we had the molting season, in which all the colony changed all the feathers of the body, the whole colony, the adults and the juveniles. And in April to September, we had the migration period. that the penguins are almost exclusively in the sea. We do the monitoring program in which we see the growth of the population, we see the breeding success, and we see the areas occupied by nests. That is information so useful to know how populations are responding to the environmental changes. And here I put a little video of the location of El Pedral, that is that new colony that I mentioned before, that it has a lot of human disturbance on the first year when there are only 6 pairs, and like fire on the bushes, dogs, and a lot of things that humans do to they are so bad to penguins, like quad bikes and a lot of things. So Poppy get advice of this situation, and he start to work so hard to protect penguins there, and he can create a wildlife refuge for them in 29, 1 year before the establishment of the colony. So now in 2022 censuses, we take the amazing notice that we have 4,000 pairs now breeding in that place. That's amazing work of the team. And we do the monitoring every year uninterrupted from the first year to the last season that we have. We conduct annual censuses, we measure the breeding success, and we do like delimitate the areas that the nests are occupying every year to see how the colony expands, how it gets a little bit little, how it's year by year developing the colony. Another part of the science program is the deployment of some GPS transmitters that give us the information of the route that penguins do on the sea during the incubation and chick rearing period, in which they have to feed their chicks. So we can see how far from the colonies are the foraging areas, the main areas that penguins are eating, and we can see if these areas are overlapping with human activities on the sea, like for example fisheries. So this information is so important to generate marine protected areas. This is my favorite one, that is the deployment of underwater cameras, in the incubation and the chick rearing period, to see how the penguins are feeding, which prey they catch, and how much they spend underwater, and how they interact with other species and with penguins too, with other penguins too. We had this crazy case in which one penguin records another one with the camera. That is crazy because El Pedral has 4,000 pairs, and that means that it has 8,000 penguins individuals. So it's crazy that they found each other under the water. And our last project is the deployment of satellite transmitters to see the long migration trip that penguins do during April to September. They spend 5 months almost exclusively at the sea, and they migrate to southern Brazil. It's 4,000 kilometers away. And it's an amazing and long route that they do, and we can record it and see the migration route. We see the overlapping with human activities too, and we see if males and females, like the pair, are going together or they get separate, or if females goes from to a side and males for another one. We can see a lot of fantastic variables that these amazing tools give us. And in that year, we put tags on 2 colonies, the most little one, that is El Pedral, that I'm talking before, and the other one, we put some tags in San Lorenzo, that is the most big colony of Magellanic penguins on the world. It has 200,000 pairs, and it's huge. And we put in last year we put in that two colonies, and this year we put some uh, efforts to do two more colonies more at the south. And this kind of maps that I show you now, we will be available on our website, so you can join the penguins journey on our page. And when the satellites are uploading all the time the location of the individuals, so you can see it on our website. And I think that it will really be released this week.
Awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
And I want to tell you that this year, Global Penguin Society turns 15 years. So I invite you to celebrate, invite you all to celebrate in our social media and in our page, seeing the Penguin's journey. We are so happy that we are working from 15 years hard to protect the penguins.
Okay. I really like the one with the crazy eyebrows. Doesn't that one look funny?
Yeah, they are so funny and different from each other.
I have a question about the Magellanic penguins. So they migrate 4,000 kilometers every year. What do they do when they get to Brazil? And when do they come back?
They spend that 5 months only on the sea feeding. They are feeding and swimming and traveling.
Oh, so they're following the fish.
Yeah, and there's it's like now it's like a tendency to go to the north of the penguins, because all the fish stock are moving to the north, so penguins are moving to the north too. Also, the colonies are moving to the north too. Del Pedral is a case of a new colony, and are receiving individuals from colonies from the south. They are moving northwards.
Which species are doing well and why?
The Magellanic penguin, for example, are doing so well. They are fantastic, because they here in my city in Puerto Madryn, I had three penguin colonies so close. Del Pedral and San Lorenzo, there are two successful colonies that are in protected areas. They had control access to see them. You had to walk in a only in two lines. You can go into the penguin colony if you are not authorized, and they are so protected here. And hopefully, with the trucks, we see that in that two colonies, they are like close to fronts that are so productive. So they have a lot of food near the colony, and that means that parents during the incubation and the chick breeding can invest less energy to feed the chicks, and it's so good for the breed success. So if the food availability it's okay, and the distance to the foraging areas are littlest, we can they are okay.
How are king penguins doing?
Pink penguins now are increasing their populations. We had the same monitoring program that I talked about before in the presentation. Is the going well with king penguins? They are putting cameras. They are tracking them. Poppy are working with them in Chile.
What do you see for penguins for the next 30 years?
I think that we are in a good way to make the world a safe place for them. We are working so hard. The penguins has that like magic that make you feel connected with them. So they are fantastic vehicles for conservation. So I hope that we can find a solution for some threats that penguins are facing, and hope that we can see penguins for a long time. I hope so.
I hope so too. They're really cute, right? Gotta
They
gotta
are
be like
amazing.
number 5 on cutest animals in the world right there. Yeah. They're really
They are
awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Thank you so much for talking with me, Candela. And thank you for watching. You can help animals by hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. I'll see you next time on Nature's Guardians. Bye.